Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the I Do Music podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. Here's a year-end recap of the I Do Music podcast season 1, and as we prepare for 2018, we really want to highlight all of the advice our special guests have given us this year. So be sure to stay tuned to season 2 and have a happy holidays and a blessed new year. The last thing, any bit of advice that you could give to someone, like I said, who's interested, not necessarily being in your shoes, but interested in doing any of the things that you have done over the course of your career?
You got to find the thing that you care about and figure out how to make that a part of what it is you want to do. And, you know, in the industry, there's so many different routes you can take. You have to start at a place of at least a destination. Because I meet a lot of people who say, yo, man, I just want to get on. Like, I'll do anything. I'm like, man, you going to get, well, man, it's going to be bad for you. Because the anything part is not as good as it sounds. It's like somebody will drag you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a destination, you don't ever have that, you can't make that decision on, is this helpful to get to where I'm going.
Right.
So if you're just like willing to go anywhere, you tend to end up just somewhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would say, too, try to find a mentor, you know, and understand when you find a mentor, mentorship is an exchange of information. It's not just you taking, but you need to reciprocate and give your mentor something back.
Right,
you know?
absolutely.
Which I feel like a lot of people don't realize that as well, you know, no matter what stage of life you are. And everybody wants to learn. So you try to learn from this person won't learn from you. Or else, I don't want to mentor you if I can't learn anything from you. You're just taking from me, you know?
Do what you say you're gonna do. If people like myself and people like Curtis, I appreciate you for having me here, Curtis. Like, we get approached every day for people that say they want to get on, right? Me, I have a way that I do things with people that say they want to get on. I tend to, I don't want to say I string them along. That's not what I do. But what I do is I let people vet themselves out to make sure that they're really about what they say they're about. So, for instance, if I meet somebody, because I'm very approachable, if I meet a kid that say they want to get on, I make him show that. I need you to be pleasantly persistent in how you deal with me and how you approach getting on, and show me that you can actually bring some value to me. What are you gonna do if I help you get access to this business to make my job easier at the end of the day? Because it has to be a two-sided approach.
Stay off the drugs. You know what I mean? Drugs, alcohol, and that type of stuff play a big impact in people's lives and careers. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't smoke, don't really drink like that. So, you know, I've seen a lot of producers, artists, you know, things have happened and came about because of alcohol and drugs.
That's
you know,
so
whether
true.
it's death or altercations, and, you know, it's a lot of stuff that plays parts, you know, that comes from abuse of those type of, you know, substances and stuff. So
Exactly.
just keep your mind right. That's it.
You know, I think a lot of people kind of don't really look side by side. You know, they're always looking up.
Right.
You know, but really don't realize that, like, the people that you're on the same level with, like, you guys are running your marathon at the same pace.
Many ways you can break records now. Strip clubs was like when that's what everybody thought. That's how you get a record broke. And I've seen millions of dollars get wasted in the strip club. You know, they play at them 30 minutes while them new artists in there. They come in there with all their T-shirts and they crew and they jeweled up and nothing happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's nothing wrong with it, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, to each his own. Sometimes it might work for some people, but it's like hitting the lottery, I think.
I was actively trying to figure out what to do with my life. I mean, like, I think that that's very important for anybody listening. Like, I always say it's okay to not be where you want to be today. It's okay to not be what you think you're supposed to be. That's okay. But what's not okay is not trying to figure out every waking second of the day how to change that.
Exactly.
You know, like, some people are just laxical about life and like, but for me, I was actively looking for an outlet to do something with myself.
I got to know that you actually feel like you're worthy of working. before
invest that in.
before I put you into a position
Yeah.
of actually doing real work. Because if you're not here to work, I don't need you here. I don't need you here to get IG pictures. I don't. Like, I want people that have a similar work ethic as me. I'm clear it's a new day, but work ethic has been the same since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody that's like, that considers me a mentor, they'll tell you, Keenan kind of made, it was a minute before he actually put me on. And it's a reason for it. Like, I got to know that you really want to work. So show that. Show me how you're going to make my shit easier. Because honestly, I've been doing it 20 years without your help.
Right.
I don't really need your help.
Yeah.
But I want to know that if I put you in a position to succeed and to have access to people that can help elevate your career, that is going to be a benefit to both of us.
Right.
Because trust, if I put you on, you're going to have way more access to things than I am from you. Trust. So I just say, come in with a real work ethic. Be pleasantly persistent in your approach, because I don't owe you anything, nor does anybody else in a position to help you. Be pleasantly persistent, and just be the same person every time. Don't get on and get brand new.
It's funny, I have a lot of arguments with a lot of young managers now, because they're like, oh man, these record labels don't know what they're doing, this, that, and the other. I'm like, hey man, when you walk into that meeting, that's that man's lifeline on, when an A&R decides to sign an act, that's his career on the line.
Right.
When he has to walk into a meeting with the finance department and explain, this is the number, he has to basically guess and bank on, this is the number of units we're going to sell with this particular project. So there's a formula that they put together on what the profit of that project will be and what the loss will be.
Right.
They're not in the business of just giving away the money.
Right.
So that was definitely a learning curve, and taking responsibility for that money being put out there. Because, early on, you're looking at $1 million out the window before anything really, really happens from a major record label standpoint.
But 360s are essentially the phrase, or like the nickname for what they call passive participation, which is the record company saying, we're going to participate with you on your income in areas that we're passive, where we don't actually have to do anything. We've I guess they're saying we've done our thing by putting money into your celebrity.
Right.
I do think that if I heard a song, I would realize things about the song that you guys don't realize, because I'm trained to listen to songs. Like, when I hear a song, I analyze, even if it's a hit, I ask myself, why is this a hit, right? So, like, everybody, it's only like 6 emotions in people, right? It's only like 6 emotions I can express to you. Either I love you, I'm happy to see you, I hate you, I miss you, I'm angry at you. It's really, that's what music is. Music is an expression from people to other people, right? So we're celebrating each other. It's only a few emotions. So as a writer, a songwriter, your job is to make music that captures one of those moods.
In this business, you have to be a people person. That's like number one. I was taught from an early age in this business, hey, if you want to make it in this business, you have to be a people person.
Yeah.
Very important. And I think a lot of times people forget that.
That's true.
They go on the music, and they go on, all these other things that they do. But at the end of the day, this is about relationships. This business is built on relationships. I have not been around for 30 plus years just based on me doing what I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, of course you have to be good at this. You have to be a good communicator. You have to know your product. You have to know the artist. You have to even know the companies, the the radio stations and the personnels and everybody that you're dealing with.
I understand you want, some people like, man, when I smoke it loosen me up, or when I drink it loosen me up. But eventually, man, the same thing that you think helping you gonna hurt you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I ain't knocking nobody for their creative process or what they think they need and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But really, I don't think it should take that for you to be able to do your art. Because
Right.
man, this is a God sent thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I tell people, anybody who really create and understand what it is, they know what I'm saying. Like, this is really a God sent thing. Like, you can't even explain how you come up with these songs, or you
These
come in a
ideas,
room,
yeah.
nothing, and you leave out with something so beautiful. It's a God sent thing. So I don't believe in you needing anything to disrupt that connection. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't knocking you if you do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just eventually gonna come point a time like where you gonna have to deal with it if you think that's what you need to create.
That's real.
You know, bottom line is, it's like if everybody wearing skinny jeans and you come out there with some bell bottoms, like that might not work so well. So, say for instance, bell bottoms might come around, but you're gonna have to get into the skinny jean world first and get them to, you know, let them know that you can communicate with them on that, and then you can introduce them.
To something new.
You know what I'm saying, to something else or whatever, and eventually they might even start wearing bell bottoms.
Yeah.
But you can't sit up there and just say, here's some bell bottoms, put these on. So I'm saying you have to integrate into the sound with the youth. They don't know you. You gotta build trust in them. You know what I'm saying? And they don't, you know, a lot of these cats don't even know, you know, younger cats and younger artists or whatever, they don't know what, you know, or didn't even listen to that type of music. So you gotta get to their level to connect with them for them to trust you. Once they trust you and you can show them that, listen, like, you know how to turn up, you know how to do all the, you know what I'm saying, like, you really, you know what I'm saying, you with the shits and everything, right?
You're not going to sign any agreement without having someone read over it.
Present, right?
You know, you don't want to be pushed into signing it on site. If they say that it's going to go away if you don't sign on site, you just got to take that risk and just not do it, you know. I think that 9 times out of 10, if somebody's telling you that, then there's something wrong with the contract. There's something that's really, really, you're going to be disappointed that you signed it.
So it's like a red flag.
It's a huge red flag. So, you know, get a competent person to read over the agreement. And when you, when that person says it's ready, have them to explain it to you. A lot of times attorneys kind of take the easier way out. We don't really feel, we've done it, we've read over the contract a few times. We've already negotiated it back and forth. We're kind of tired of the particular contract by the time it's time for the artist to sign. So it's easy for us to really want to say, all right, it's ready, just sign it.
As a producer, your job is to always stay in tune. Like, remember, if you go back to the 70s, funk was popping. The next thing you know, disco come. Then right after disco, you got the punk rock. Then right after that, you got the hip hop. Right after the hip hop, you got the freestyle, you got the house music. So production always changing. Songwriting don't. A good song is always a good song. Now the way the production, the way you make it sound, the feel, that always changes. So as a producer, you just gotta always make sure you locked into the changing times of production. You gotta think even Quincy Jones got to a point where he told Mike, I don't know, I'm gonna need help with this album. You might need to go mess with Teddy Riley.
Right.
That's the new sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the new sound. So as a producer, you always gotta be abreast and paying attention to what's moving the people at that particular point in time.
You always got to be around people who lift more weight than you do, period. Like, if, you know, when you get to a certain point, and if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get up out that room, period, and get into a room where you're not the smartest person, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Just like lifting weights. If you're going to sit up there and, you know what I'm saying, if somebody only lifts 200 pounds, but you know what I'm saying, man, you trying to get your weight up and you already do 315, you spotting all the time, but your weight not going up, because, you know what I'm saying, like, you got to get somebody who lift 400 pounds for your 315 to have potential to get to 400.
Going from a boutique system where you just did it.
Yeah.
You know, we'd sit in a room and, you know, watch television or listen to music and be inspired by something and just write it all down, put it together in a plan, and actually go and act it. When you're dealing with a corporate entity like Warner Brothers, man, that first month was almost one of the worst experiences of my life.
Really?
Yeah, because I had to figure out how to do things diplomatically, politically, and within a budget,
Right.
and get approval from so many different areas.
Right.
So it would take, man, a week to get anything done. So by the time, you know, it gets approved, sometimes you don't even want to do it any longer.
The industry is just really about trying to do good business with as many people, not trying to burn people, but also trying to, like, you know, have your career progress at the same time. So those, you can't teach a lot of those things. A lot of those things are just having good people skills.
Yeah.
And you learn that just by, you know, being in different settings, being in classrooms, being in another state, being, you know, all that stuff really helps mold a person, as opposed to, you know, learning how to EQ a track. You can learn that online.
I tell people this now, like, if you're doing something well, people will come and find you and tell you. Like, you don't have to be like, how was that, man? I mean, you can ask, but some people will, you know, ask because they want a pat on the back. But I'm like, if you really put it down, they're gonna come and let you know.
That's one reason I don't carry business cards. I haven't carried business cards in like 7 years
Why is that?
because I just never wanted people to identify me as the dude at the record company.
Right.
I'm Rick Ross. Bottom line, I work for this company, but that's not my identity.
That's true.
And we have to understand this. You know, we're in the entertainment industry. This is not real. This is not the real world to the average person. The average person looks at my life and be like, wow, man, you just hanging around all these stars. You get to travel. You get to do this. But at the end of the day, it's business. You know, I get up at 6 or 7 o'clock every morning, do reports. People's like, you in the record industry, you reports. Like, this is a business, and we have to treat it as such.
And once then the record blows up, and now you got a lawsuit.
Right.
So it's just understanding, like, the music business, the business side of the music industry is almost bigger than just making the music. Like, a lot of people think because I'm a great artist, I'm going to be big. And if your business is not handled, there's a lot of very, very incredible artists that never get to be on the platform they deserve to be on because they don't understand the business side of it. You know,
Absolutely.
The business is very important. You know, business is a talent.
Work for hire is tricky. People sometimes will bring the work for hire sheet in after the session, after you already did more than that.
Right.
Like, I had a situation when they brought work for hire, but when I got to the session and I'm like, what do you want me to play? I don't know, man. Do what you feel, man. You know, what you feel. So if I do what I feel, then that means I'm contributing a little bit more. And it's, you know, now if I come in and you got a bass line, and you just replay that and then, you know, give me some fills. Cool. All right. No problem. Sign the work for hire. But if there's no bass line there and now I'm like, I come up with something that, you know, and now you're super excited about your song because it lifted it up, then, I mean, we might need to talk about some writing credit.
I mean, if you want to have a prosperous life and whatever it is that you want to do, you got to be on the next level. You got to be on another level. You got to learn. You got to understand. You can't be above nobody. You can't think you better than nobody. You can't think that you can't do this. You can't think that because you did this, you can't sweep the floor.
Right.
You can't wash the window. You can't clean the room. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, Gene Ross walked past the studio the other night and I was sweeping the floor in the studio. It's like, you know, nobody else is going to do it.
Right.
Somebody got to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's not that nobody else is going to do it, but I'm here now and I see it needs to be done.
So let's just get it done.
Let's just get it done. It take 9 times out of 10, the things that you don't want to do, that you think that you can't do or you don't want to do, doesn't take over an hour. Doesn't take over 30 minutes.
So if you you know, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people that come in and they're not really ready to be tested.
Yeah.
You know, their passion isn't that deep. Y'all was just trying to hit a lick. Y'all just like how it looks. You know what I mean? Who don't like how it looks? You know what I mean? People see Gucci. People see Gucci now, but don't know the Gucci then. You know what I mean? The Gucci then, he went through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm just being real. Like, Gucci went through a lot of shit, a lot of closed doors in his face. You know what I mean? A lot of personal demons. You got to balance that shit out. You know what I mean? Or make the right decisions. Gucci the biggest he ever been in his life right now. Everything making sense, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because he's centered.
Balance.
He's been tested.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And now he can tell his testimony. You can see his testimony.
I remember trading drums with Kanye, and the nigga Kanye gave me the wackest drums ever. I gave him some heat. You know what I'm saying? But all of that stuff was, I mean, it's so accessible and so right there at your fingertips. I feel like the lack of limitations has kind of create some of the creativity. It's kind of taking a step back a little bit because once, you know, especially black people, we make so much out of a little bit of shit, you know. We had drum machines that only had like a couple seconds of sample time and this would make some amazing shit out of it. But now they don't have those limitations. And just imagine like, Stevie Wonder with all of the shit that he could do now. This would be amazing. But it would encourage these young producers to really try to stand out instead of just fitting in. Yeah, because
some DJs aren't people. It's not a people person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I see like the best DJs are people are DJs that can interact with people well, or that can read people. You know what I'm saying? There's some DJs that they be DJing and don't even look up outside their laptop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still walk through the crowd before I even DJ to see what the vibe is.
Right.
See whose birthday is it. See what side of the club is the crunkest or the hypest or whatever. And cater to, I cater to everybody, but you gotta find those points in the party. I still do that. I walk through any crowd, man. And like, even on Luda shows, when I DJ for Luda, he'll be like, yo, what kind of crowd is it? I don't know, let me go walk through and see.
You get your shot, you gotta make your shot. And the only way you make that shot is those 10,000 hours. You see what I'm saying? The only way you make your shot the only way you keep your cool is knowing, what it felt like when it was hot. You know what I mean? And you don't never want to go back to that. That's the fear. You gotta be a little afraid, you know what I mean? And if you get it too quick, too soon, that's scary. So you gotta have that test, and that's the only way you really know what you're made of. Test build character. They tell you a lot about yourself, so you're ready for situations when they arise.
People look at people like Suge Knight and Gene Griffith as the bad guys. They're the bad guys of the industry.
Yeah.
But they were very successful at what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did it to the extreme. But you have to have a little bit of that in you in order to really make it in this industry.
Yeah.
I'm more of a passive person. You know what I'm saying? And I wish I had a little bit more of that aggression, even to seek out, with certain acts. It's like, okay, look, and dealing with certain people, if I could go back to my younger self, I'd be like, look, talk to these people and say, look, you can have this. Just cut me into this part of it. Let me do this with the group, and at least let me build my situation instead of just giving it away like I did.
Yeah.
My whole thing was like, I just want y'all to achieve your goals.
Made a cash sale for that building. Wow. Liquidated assets to make things happen and to be in that room, to see business and participate and make decisions on business being conducted on a level that high. That's invaluable.
Right.
I didn't get paid in money, but I got paid in knowledge.
Right.
So for me, when opportunities come to me like that, I find that just as valuable as any check I could receive.
Absolutely.
Because it's knowledge. You can't
buy that.
You can spend the money, but you can't take away your knowledge.
So the only thing that I'm happy about with the rags to riches is that I can take care of my children.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else obsolete to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had big Chevys, big chains, big herringbones. I got Brightoners, Automirrors. I got all kind of stuff. I can buy whatever I want, but I don't want that. I'm right now I'm focused on generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I leave, I want my kids to have this, and I want them to be able to learn this, not in the way that I learn, but I want them to understand how to manage this and how to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing for generational wealth right now. I would not buy me another chain. I just went and bought a Philippe and took it back and got my money back.
In order to reach the level of success that you want, there's going to be a lot of sleepless nights.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of early mornings. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of long days. But if you really want it, that's what you have to do. And I would tell any upcoming publicist, any upcoming artist, you can't, when you have your low days, or maybe a client is not acting right, or maybe a deal didn't go through, that's not the end of everything.
Right.
You just take that as the L, not the loss, but the lesson, and you move on, and you create more. Every day you create. Every day you do something different that you didn't do. So as you move in that function, then you will definitely see your rewards of your success, and you'll be able to, enjoy it.
Having a spirit of grace and femininity and compassion and humanity and that nurturing spirit sometimes where things or situations may go awry and people may sometimes bicker and argue. I've always been able to successfully play the role as a peacemaker and bring people together and have people sit down and talk and work out issues and, find a successful way for us to be able to work out and do business and make whatever goal that we have reached to, to be able to realize that goal. So, for me, it's I think compassion and kindness goes a long way. And that is a quality that we as women have.
An older guy can't build the same rapport with a younger male that like I can, or
Right.
with a male period, because they're going to want certain things from me, or respect me or appreciate the way I feel about certain things as a woman in the room, as opposed to speaking to another guy and asking, well, let me talk to you about my feelings. They're not going to do that. And sometimes you got to break through those feelings to be able to get the job done. I need you to get out of this creative slump. Let's have a conversation about what's really going on.
And I think women, too, help diffuse a lot of situations. There have been times when I have seen an email one of my male colleagues was going to send out, and I'm like, we cannot speak to these people this way.
Yeah.
So let me soften this a little bit. We've been in meetings or even interviews, and what their intention was to say, I have to go in and reframe it.
Mm-hmm. We was in here with Zaytoven. I told Zaytoven that, I need an undeniable hit, for me. Something I can put a budget behind.
Yeah.
And he gave me a beat I can put a budget behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've been pushing it, but like the only problem I have with the game is everybody tell you what you want to hear till it actually happen. Like, you got to go with paperwork with everything you say. Like that's the only thing. The only thing I can give artists is find your own knack and go with your knack. Stop trying to live everybody else's dream. Live your own dream. Cause right now, like I said, Atlanta, the perception city.
First of all, throw away your pillow because there's no sleep.
Yeah.
There's no sleep. If you want this and it is your desire to have it, sleep is not even a part of the game. I've had 2 hours today.
Oh wow.
Literally, but I won't complain about it because everything that needs to be done is done.
Signed up for.
Yeah, and so for those that are trying to get into this business, consistency is very important. You have to prove yourself. That's first and foremost. You have to prove yourself. You have to show people that I can do this. I can make this happen. And just staying focused and staying out of some of the wrong circles.
Right.
See, that's really important. There's a lot of circles. There's circles all over the world. But you have to be careful of where you place yourself and what circle you get involved in. And if you get involved in the circle, if the circle is tainted, get out as soon as you can, as nicely as you can, without leaving nobody feeling no type of way.
Right.
Other than, okay, hey, it was great, but move on.
Really, I found the feeling in music. Since I wasn't that great of a singer, I found what gave the record feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And upon finding what feeling was, that's really all you need on a record.
Yeah.
It ain't about the technical stuff. I found the pockets.
I don't get too worked up and worried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not looking at somebody else and be like, oh, I got to do what they doing. Oh, man, we got to hurry up. We got to do this. We got to do this. And let's keep doing what we're doing organically, and we're going to do it. It's a reason why Drummer has been on the radio for 10 years straight. It's a reason why. It's not because he's caught up in this and trying to run around here and be where everybody else is at. He sits down, takes his time. You know what I mean? So I always say, like, take your time, man. You ain't got to rush to go over there. You ain't got to do what they do. Do you. You know what I mean? That's a lot of things people are not doing. People don't want to be who they are. When you think about artists before us, before we got in the game, they was true to themselves.
So, when I see the youngsters, I sit there and just try to tell them, like, they want to hear the nonsense. And I don't tell them about God. I just tell them he gave me a second chance, dude. So everybody already know me and my past.
Right.
So if you say that, that means I ain't know it was going to be so. Man, I'm in a place, a great place right now.
That's good.
A great place right now. And I can't even lie to you, every day I get up and a song we just got on my son's album motivate me. He said he didn't even take baths at time, but he made profit. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was drained, but he got up and worked. And if that can motivate, and every day I wake up, I get in my Bible 45 minutes, man, and I don't just pray for myself, I pray for everything, this generation.
You have to be ready. And I think balancing all that kind of stuff, while it can be hard to do, you just kind of got to, figure that part into when you're starting. Like, is this really what I want to do? Because like engineers that constantly turn down sessions, pick another career, because you're not ready for this. Your life is about, you've chosen a lifestyle, and so you have to be ready to do this. And if you're constantly going to be turned down sessions, and you're like, I got other things to do. I'm going out Friday night, this and that. You just get a 9-to-5 job, man.
To where you can have that, yeah.
Go do something else, because it doesn't matter what part of music you're in. It's a 24-hour job. I mean, they might call you, A&R's got to book sessions all the time. So even if you're on that end of it, you constantly have to, be awake and be ready and be able to do things that are required of you to do it. As a manager, the artist is like, I want to go do this. It's like, you better be awake and be ready to do what you need to do. And then same with, as interns, assistants, engineers, the studio itself, that's why we're open 24 hours a day. That's the lifestyle.
And as an artist and a DJ is more challenging. You know what I'm saying? It's a popping city, but also it's challenging.
Why is that?
I mean, because, if you go somewhere to a B or C market, you can become popping
instantly, yeah.
But in no time. But if you come here, I mean, it's the same. You can use the same grind here, but it's so many other artists and DJs and all different aspects of trying to get a name here. Like it challenges you.
I could stay in Lansing, but then again, I was like, I don't feel like I'm gonna get bigger. So I said, fuck that, and I left. And I had to just learn how to move without my parents, network, see if I could take over another market.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like one of my homies in Lansing that was on the radio was like, yo, you're not gonna be solidified unless you can go to multiple markets and become what you want to become, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I'll go to another small city and work my way that way. Because, small cities, you're going to learn more than you will at a big market, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to necessarily get on chasing somebody that's already on. Because 9 times out of 10, they already have their guys that they got on with.
Right.
Like I got on with Camouflage.
Right.
DMX got on with Swizz Beatz.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop got on with Dr. Dre. So it's gonna be hard to get in them camps unless you come with a record that's so phenomenal that it blows anything else that they got out the water.
Yeah, they gotta use it, right?
Then they have to.
Mm-hmm.
But for you to really make a mark in this business and stay relevant for a long time, you gotta create an artist, make an artist. So I when I look back at my career, I've always been involved at the beginning of somebody's career. When they took off and blew up, I was always instrumental in something.
For me, loyalty is always important. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. Loyalty is always key. You gotta be loyal to something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just me. They gave me my first opportunity. They gave me my first everything. So I feel like I can't turn my back on no Big Oomp, no DJ Jelly, MC. So I just really can't do that because they paved the way for me, and they supported my whole every step as me becoming a producer, as a DJ, and everything like that. So I feel like it's old. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like nobody else deserves that loyalty from me. I'm a very loyal person.
Probably could have invested more time in getting with some people that wasn't like me. You know what I'm saying? Because some of them ended up being like humongous tech investors and all kind of stuff. They all went on to do like great things. And I think I probably should have invested more time. If somebody could have gave me a word of advice, it would have been like, you know what you know. Go blink and do something you don't know. Go get with a crew of people that you don't know. Go to the Jewish student organization and hang out with them, or go hang out with. That's probably what the advice should have been. You know what I'm saying? But instead, we was trying to meet Khalid Muhammad, at the Black rally around the corner about something, which was dope. That was a dope experience, but there's some other experience that I wish I would have participated in outside of it. If I could do it all over again, I would probably spend more time trying to build relationships outside of that. But I definitely recommend college to anybody that has the opportunity to go, but it's not for what you're going to learn inside, because the truth is,
you have to be willing to do what it takes. And so a lot of people come in and they're like, man, I had to stay up late. You got
I was about to say time.
7 in the morning. So we've had several interns that come in and they quit after like the first or second day because they had to stay here and do some food runs but that was what you kind of signed up for. And music people work at night. It's, a lot of things happen in the daytime. And here we're one of those facilities that we are able to fill the daytimes with a lot of stuff too. Not necessarily all the music is at night, but that is kind of the nature of the animal. And so if you're not cool with that, and you're not cool with working long hours, because sessions are 12 hours, 16 hours, they're long.
Mhm.
Then you might want to think about a different career path, because if you're wanting to work, 9 to 5, this is not the business for that. This business is ruthless as far as the amount of time it takes from you. I remember when I was starting and doing stuff, it was like, no, there's no social life. You don't plan.
The difference nowadays is that everybody has their own home studio. But a lot of times when they have the home studios, they're not tuning the rooms.
Mhm.
Whereas back in the days, a top engineer was always in a commercial tuned room.
Mhm.
Nowadays, of course, everybody's at home, which is fine, but they haven't taken the extra steps to actually tune their process, let alone really dive in and know what they're doing. So now when I make this cold call, it's like the first thing I get kicked back with is, but I bought this, I got this equipment, I bought this, and I got these speakers, I bought this. And I go, hold on, it's nothing to do with that. We're talking about what you did using that. Nowadays, it's almost like a lot of new engineers get offended.
And they're on the defense, yeah.
And that's not what the purpose of it is. The purpose of it is, I'm hearing your song, I know how to help you make it sound better.
To all the kids or hustlers or whoever's listening, I was telling the dude the other day, he, hey man, I need my song on the radio. I need my song on the radio. And I'm like, look, even if I put your song on the radio, you need to think about where your song is online.
Right.
Because the radio station, even if they played your song 24 hours a day for 7 weeks, it could not beat how much traffic or how many plays you can get on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on, you know what I mean? So where is your music at? You just telling me V103 playing it. That's not enough.
Young women, don't get your feelings hurt when you realize that, they're men. You walk in the room and sometimes they don't even really speak to you. They talk to all the men in the huddle, and I'm the one that's actually going to carry this deal forth. You know what I mean? So don't let it hurt your feelings. As a woman, you have to just see things for what they are and align yourself with what you are going to do and what you will expect or accept from that opportunity or from that relationship.
Absolutely.
So I just feel like you can't get caught in the clutter. Do you get out of there, still live your life, but make sure that you demand respect regardless.
Don't talk to no promoter, doing business hours. You know what I'm saying? Get in contact, like, hey, can we meet up, on an off day or whatever, chop it up with you. But in Atlanta, it's all about, branding.
Right.
I mean, and because a lot of these promoters, they use us. Not me, used by me, but
I know what you
in
mean.
floating. You know what I'm saying? And you can be Eminem DJ. And in Atlanta, shit, they don't give a damn if this dude ain't use you or this guy ain't use you. Man, it could be like, shit.
I don't know what it is about forgetting to put your credit on the record. You know what I'm saying? You didn't do this record by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This is our record, not yours. You know what I'm saying? Your name is on it. But I put it like this. Long story short, what would you rather hear? An a cappella or an instrumental?
An instrumental.
You can listen to an instrumental. You cannot listen to an a cappella. Nobody wants to hear you just rap by yourself.
That's true.
Because when you do that, it's going to be some stuff in that a cappella that's going to tell on you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The beat masks some of the inaccuracies in what you did. You're going to hear all the flaws. And as a producer, you leave flaws in the record sometimes because it gives it character.
Right.
Just, and this is in, like, I guess, relationships with people. It's like you hear all the time, man, you're hearing me, but you ain't listening.
Right? Yeah.
And that's right. And that's, as an engineer, it took me a lot of years to get past the point of, no, I'm right because I'm the engineer. I never said that, but as I started to do more and more, I started trying to listen more and more to people. And like, so they give you ideas and you're like, in my mind, I'm like, that's crazy. That shit ain't going to work. But I gave up on that and said, you know what, I'm going to try all these things because I started to learn that 50% of that stuff worked.
Right.
And at least if I try it and then and it doesn't work, the client knows it didn't work. I know it didn't work. Nobody's mad. And we move on to the next thing that they do.
Exactly.
And a lot of times it's not even that it won't work. It's just the way people explain it is different than the way maybe I would explain it. So it's trying to understand it. Because a lot of people say strange words that if I want something brighter, I'm gonna say brighter, but people say, well, make it crispy. Well, that's different, but you learn. Or make it fat. Okay, let's add some more bottom on it and
Right,
make it a little
right.
wider. So it's just different terminology, and a lot of times as an engineer, you have to listen.
But I started learning what money was, and not a thing where money is not a thing. Jay-Z said it. We don't talk on the phone. You know how niggas take pictures with the money. When I was locked up, I would get pictures. Niggas with money, girls, cars. We did rim shop. We selling 20-inch rims. This was the only place you could get 20-inch wheels. You know what I'm saying? So all the high shit I just was looking at, and it was making me sick. Like, damn, I got 10 years. Like, I ain't finna see none of this shit. So I started ignoring it. And I started thinking like how worthless it was, a picture with a nigga flashing money. So I was like, So I started learning about what money was and who I was, right?
Only reason why, because I'm hoping that a lot of us really wake up to understand the business. Because it started with the business. At the end of the day, it's 99.9% business. The other 1% is just the music.
Right.
If they really understand it. You know what I mean? And hopefully they can let the APs go, the rollies and the jewelry and the cars, and get out of business. Think about those babies. Think about 20 years from now. But I think we got too many talented artists here, and they developing every day.
Mm-hmm.
They developing every day. Only thing they need is a chance.
Right.
And that's all street is about. It's giving chances.
I think God, of course. I mean, that sounds, I guess, overused too, but really
No,
just
it's
a
real.
lot of prayer and just home training. I think, doing what you say you're going to do, treating other people how you want to be treated, because you got to think, like, people can go anywhere for your service.
Mhm.
And, this is a service-based, or I'm in a service-based industry, so it's really providing the best possible service I can give. I listen to E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher a lot,
Yeah.
and they talk about Chick-fil-A and Chipotle a lot on their podcast.
Mhm.
And people go there because of the service,
Yeah.
the food, but then also the service. And because anybody can go anywhere and eat. And so it's the same thing. People can go anywhere and get PR services, but I feel like it's just providing exceptional customer service and then delivering.
The music industry is a small clique of people. And I think your reputation and the goodwill that you have around you, I think follows you. And I think
Right.
it means something. I think it can be helpful. Some of the best people I've seen, music lawyers in this business, are firm and fair and knowledgeable and things like that, but they're not mean. That might get you ahead in the short run, but at least it's not my style. To be a jerk or to be mean to be somebody or try to get an unscrupulously unfair deal. I think having a reputation for being fair and transparent is the best way to get the other side on board with doing a deal with you. Nobody, it doesn't help a deal for the other side to be skeptical of you,
Right.
or think you're trying to pull something over on them. I've found transparency, being fair, knowing my deal points, understanding where the other side's coming from. I mean, sometimes just put myself in their shoes. What was it that they want?
I mean, the corporate thing is always great because it's the relationships. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So you get a chance to build relationships with people. I'm working with this person or this person, whether I'm working with Jill Scott, I'm working with this person. So, the industry is small because everybody does the same thing. Like, everybody that does the job, they do it for everybody a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the people at BET are the people at BET. You know what I'm saying? The people at Revolt are the people at Revolt. Whether they're the people at Revolt when you take Ty Dolla $ign by, or whether they are the people at Revolt when you take 7th Streeter by. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's the
saying?
same people.
These are all the same people. So when you begin to build those relationships are relationships. Your relationship doesn't stop because you no longer work for this person. If you really have a relationship, you're
Right.
still who you are, I still am who I am, and I, and you still have that relationship. So it's always great when you can build it with a corporate structure because you get to meet a lot of people and
relationships are key, and know your craft. Because if you know your craft, then you will also simultaneously know what it is you don't know, which means you'll get out of the way of yourself.
Right.
Because, to spend a lot of time doing something that you're not good at, but you feel that because you're putting a bunch of energy into it,
You'll get better.
it'll get better. I'm going to keep hustling. If you hustle manure, it's going to be a ton of manure. So find what your talent is, what your gift is. That way it becomes easy. Put hard work behind something that's easily your talent, you're going to be successful. There's no doubt about it. And if you keep relationships, meaning you don't do things just because you think that person can do something for you. Do something because it's something you want to do. And then I think you'll find that that'll be reciprocated.
And the music industry is very pressurized. It'll make you feel like you can't do anything. Or when the next guy comes along and does something, it'll make you feel insignificant. You know what I mean? No, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. Eventually, it will happen. I believe if you put pressure on anything, that's physics. You put pressure on anything, what's going to happen? Eventually, it's going to break. So just keep doing it.
When you come out of law school, the truth is you don't really know what the heck you're doing. It's basically on-the-job training, and at a law firm, at a big law firm especially, there's just sort of no better place. There are a lot of, I take that back. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that a lawyer out of law school can chart their path, but one really great way is to go to a big law firm, get trained, you get thrown to the wolves and learn quick and have great teachers, and it's long hours and stressful environment, which I always say that's not that much different than anybody in the world and in music. Long hours and stressful environment and working hard and trying to be the best. But being with some really, really fantastic lawyers and some great teachers and have some mentors there absolutely prepared me to be a good lawyer when I flew the nest out to Turner in-house at a company.
It's so important to what I do of what Curtis does.
Exactly.
Because, and Kenny, because if you don't have quality recordings, if these things don't sound good, I don't care what I play them through, they're not going to sound good. Right. So it's got to start here. And nobody can do it better than a professional. So you've got to have professional recording, professional engineering, and professional mastering to get all those things done so that we can then have something to appreciate.
Exactly.
And people are spending big money on making sure that they can hear everything that these professionals put together, or the artists themselves.
Right.
I think Crit was surprised at how expensive some of the things could get, because he said, like, I've got to make sure my stuff sounds great because you guys are taking this pretty seriously. And it's like, yes, we are.
One, you should have really good people in your corner, good management team, good lawyer, good accountant, because don't get it wrong, even in my career, there are some slip-ups that I made, because what happens is, producers and songwriters, we're creative, and we always want to stay creative, so we're not really thinking about the business aspect of it, and when you're not thinking about it, things can sort of slip through the cracks. So paying attention to, making sure your split sheets and what percentage of royalty that you're getting from your content is important, and not allowing people to totally run your life. I think that's what happens to a lot of, especially us, black producers. We get so caught up into the hype of what we're doing as creative people. We start seeing that money. We want to flash out, get cars, blah, blah, blah. And that's great. To do that, you deserve that. You deserve to treat yourself to that if you want to, but you got to pay attention to what's going on, because
it's the people that's right beside you that's really going to come up with you. And for me, I was at school at Morris Brown here. I was DJing wherever I could. That was also the era of DJ battles, so I went and won $1 million DJ battle. I got in this battle. I did everything I could. I mixed on B103, which is the only station in town. As far as commercial radio at that time, I did a mix show on there for free. I worked in a nightclub for $200 a week, and I had a regular job. And I was in the 116th Army National Guard Band playing my saxophone and going to Morris Brown with a saxophone music scholarship. This was everything I was doing before Crisscross.
This is the truth, is if you're an artist, you're up and coming, treat your shit professionally. Show up on time, because the artists that don't, they're gonna phase themselves out.
Yeah.
You can't continue a trend, because your art is gonna suffer. When you don't take your craft seriously, your art suffers, and the audience, they're smart. They're gonna feel it. It's gonna start to wane, and I would say anyone who really is they're as an artist, if you really care about your craft and your platform and what you can do with your platform, if you want to really rise up, take it seriously. Show up on time. Make sure that you're prepared to give the best performance that you can give, and don't let yourself get distracted by the lifestyle.
So yeah, the biggest advice to people is, get into a PA school to show people that you're prepared to take it seriously. If you can, be the bottom rung on the ladder and helping production pick up trash and keep it, and show that you are serious about, contributing to the environment, that will give you the next step. That will give you the opportunities. But if you can't do the work honestly, don't even try.
And it's unfortunate because there's a couple really big names and artists that I love that are sampling from old records. And they don't care if those records are scratched or not scratched. So they're sampling from something that's inferior sound quality because it's a scratched record.
Gotcha.
And then recording that. And then when we play it back, somebody comes in and goes, "Oh, it's too bad your record's scratched." And it's like, no, actually, that was done on purpose.
Right.
And I appreciate that they're digging. And I like the digging. But I wish sometimes they'd clean them. And I wish sometimes they'd find maybe a better copy. Rhett would always get on me, Daily Rhett would always get on me about, you got to go digging. You can't just pull it off the internet. You got to go find those things. And
Right.
and I get that. I appreciate that a lot. But
what can you give this artist?
True.
You know what I mean? That's how you can determine your value. What do you have to offer? You know what I mean? Just the title manager. That's all. That's it. You know what I mean? So, how far can you take this artist? Sometimes you might have to partner up with someone else, which is nothing wrong with it. People have to understand, and I debate with people about this all the time. 5% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, so many people get caught up in titles and how much percentage they got. Man, I got 100%. I own all this. Well, dude, who knows you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, who knows you? I'll take 5% of 100 million.
But when you wake up the next morning, you're appreciative. Number one, because you're still alive. And number two is like the day is beautiful. I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if the sun is out. I don't care if the snow is blowing. You're alive and it's a beautiful day. And you move on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that, later in life. I started in this game when I was 20. And I'm 51 going on 52 right now. I've had a much longer career in this business than most have had. You know what I'm saying? And I've certainly discovered a lot more stars than some of the people that I even admire. So, it took a while, but yeah, now I can sit back because if anything were to happen to me, I can sit back and say, you know what, I did something. I made a change in people's lives. Not just the people that I worked with, but the people that were affected by the music.
Especially, I want to tell some of these young artists now, from what I see on Instagram, how everybody buying thousands of chains, it ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? I did some stupid stuff back then. I would have told the 20-year-old, hey, manage your money right. Do the right things. And, so, I don't know. I would have told myself to slow down a bunch of ways, and just enjoy life.
Sonically superior.